Raila needs to play a final kingmaker's role, like he did in 2002, where he will stand beside a younger person or somebody who's more eloquent or somebody who has national appeal and back them up. I don't know who that person is, but it's within Azimio. Also, it could be within Kenya Kwanza. That if they come together and they say, for example, let me just say, if they come and they say, we are supporting Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember in 2007, just before elections happened, Kalonzo was, in opinion polls, Kalonzo was more popular. I don't know whether you remember it more than Kibaki and Raila. You remember that time? Between 2004 to 2007, Kalonzo was perceived to actually be the heir apparent to the president of this country. You know, and I know there are many issues with Kalonzo, and perhaps this is now a memo I need to tell Kalonzo. What Kalonzo needs to do to bolster his chances of being supported by Raila, because all we also know in politics that politics you're not given on a silver platter. Nobody will come and tell you that, oh, because you're Kalonzo and you've supported me for the last 10 years, I'm gonna just support you. Politics is about interest, about what you bring on the table and what I get. So what Kalonzo needs to do is Kalonzo needs to aggressively move beyond being seen as a Kamba leader. Because the Kamba votes are not many, about 1.2 million votes. But he needs to go beyond that and build coalitions that can make him look like a national leader. What helped Ruto was actually to break the Kalenjin perception was the Kikuyu support, because Ruto before was being seen as a Rift Valley leader. But when he got the Mount Kenya support, he was seen as a national leader. The reason why people always, even though they say Raila is a Luo leader, but the reason why Raila is seen as a national leader is because Raila can go and fill a stadium in Wajir. He can get a governor in Mombasa. He can get a governor in Narok. Raila can stand anywhere and he gets votes across the country. How about Kalonzo? Kalonzo's votes considerably, the last time he vied for the presidency, were mostly the Kamba votes. He got about 800,000 votes. So he needs to move and build a national outlook that he can get people who can support him across the country. But there's an impediment to that, because all the positions that that Kalonzo can go and get votes from are already currently occupied. So for example, if you go to Western Kenya, I don't think they can either listen to you, either they listen to Raila, or they listen to their sons. You know, Bungoma, it's Bungoma, it's Wetangula. Some parts of Vihiga, it's Mudavadi. So I don't know where Kalonzo will get that, but Kalonzo can trace the parts where he's gotten support before. Part of it could be Mount Kenya, because Mount Kenya, I don't think they'll have a problem with Kalonzo. He can be easily embraced by a section of Mount Kenya. So whether it is Meru, it is Embu, whether it is, in fact, I'm told they're calling him Mudhoniwa, it's called Mudhoniwa, you know. So instead of just spending time in Makueni, in Machakos, in Kitui, he needs to venture out and build alliances and inherit some of these votes, because then if he can bring even a third of Mount Kenya votes, mix it with Ukambani votes, then consolidate Northeastern province. Of course, Coast is a Raila stronghold. I don't think anybody's going to take that away from him. He can come to the table with Raila and say, I'm bringing 4.5 million votes. All I want from you is to lift my hands so that I can get 3 million votes extra, which is 7.5 million. And he wins this thing early in the morning. Another thing he needs to overcome is the perception that is not trustworthy. The watermelon tag has never ended. So even the elites can come together and say, we want to give Kalonzo votes. But will they trust him? What if he goes in and then he becomes the worst traitor ever? That's a problem. But that can be changed through communication, because even the perception that is not trustworthy is a communication tag. It's a political tag. Last but not least, Kalonzo needs to have the perception that he has money, that he can marshal a presidential candidate. As we speak right now, people perceive Kalonzo as somebody who can only run an MCA seat. Of course, plus a couple of Ukambani governors. But even the Ukambani governors, apart from the 2022 elections, this is the first time that Kalonzo is having Wiper governors in all of the three Ukambani strongholds. Before, it was NAK Kenya, the party that was done by Kivuta Kibwana. Here it was Maendeleo Chapchap, which means even within his backyard, he did not have the gubernatorial seats, but now he has them. So how then does he build a war chest that can make people to trust that Kalonzo can mobilize billions of shillings required to run a presidential candidate? It is to build alliances and to win favor with elites from other communities, not necessarily Kamba, and of course to also have international networks that can help him make money. If he does that, Kalonzo Musyoka can be a non-polarizing candidate who can be an antithesis to President Ruto, and it is possible that he can properly lead that man home, and maybe we might have a one-term president in this country.